Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast. Kind of fit in episode 101, Resident Evil Village. With me, George, as always, joined by... Bobby was going to be taking the role of a tall, statuesque vampire to my short and dumpy servant-like type, but due to popular demand, a lady made a big positive influence on you all. Now she's back. Nancy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. What about you?
I am living the dream. So you crept out from behind the glass, twiddling the dials on the other side of the screen. Now you're on the microphone. Right.
I'm really working for my internship now.
You actually are. Okay, well, let's give new and old fans a rundown how the show's going to go. So coming up, we've got some news.
Yeah, shall I read it?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Wait, surprise. We're going to build people up to it. It's not as though you don't know.
We've got to get them ready.
Okay. Then we've got the feature, which is the Resident 8 feature, which we've had some behind-the-scenes info on, so we're very happy about that. Then, obviously, the real deal, the main man himself, the Ray, he rips up Fifth and Main here in New York, and he shows us the new releases for the week. Then, at the end of the show, I'd normally ask Bobby, but this week I'm going to ask Nancy what she's hoping to play. But the show cannot begin until Odders grip down tight on your Chris Redfield plush. As I ask Nancy, what have you been playing?
I played a lot of Minecraft.
Me too.
I don't play that many other games. Me and my friends have been working on building the House of Commons in Minecraft.
Just a small challenge for yourself there. Nancy, why?
Because one of my friends really likes politics, and it was his idea.
Okay, right. There we go. Any other games you've been playing?
Not so much.
No. Okay, well, confession. All I've been playing is Minecraft as well.
So relatable.
All the young ones, they're going to be like, oh, wow, this podcast's so cool. I play Minecraft. It's the best. If only they played a little bit of Fortnite, it'd be next level. But it's not quite there. Okay, well, we don't want to keep everyone too long on what we've been playing, especially seeing as it's a pixelated, blocky mess.
Yeah.
What do you reckon we should give them some news?
I think we should.
We've scoured the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, tradition dictates.
Oh, I should read it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you've only helped record numerous shows.
I've only been on one.
You've only been on one, but you've been behind the scenes on them all.
Yeah, my sneaky work. It's coming home. It's been more than 6 years since PlayStation Home shut its doors, an online PS3 experience where you can meet other real-life players, take part in activities together, and just sort of hang out. Our recent guest episode with Mike Rouse, the creator of Home, was amazing. The whole digital hangout he created certainly had a unique Sony charm. It has now been discovered that Sony very recently renewed the trademark for the PlayStation Home service, handing them rights to the name till 2028. However, you shouldn't let this discovery get your hopes up for the service's return. All this will very likely be is Sony covering its back and ensuring it has rights to a name it used once used in a meaningful manner. However, that hasn't stopped fans from theorizing what PlayStation Home could look like in the modern era. Many suggest a revival alongside Sony's upcoming next-gen PSVR headset that works a lot like VR chat. That could be pretty cool, especially if it brought back all the customization and activities PlayStation Home used to have. Others have linked it to a very recent trademark renewal, that of Soho Square Kind. We're not so sure about that, though, since that name seems perfect for a reboot of The Getaway. Please make this happen, Sony.
It's always good to mention Sir Mike Rouse, because we knighted him, as you know.
Ah, yes.
Yes, he was a knight of the realm. People should show him the proper respect he deserves. Home predates you, kind of predates me. Never really thought about it at the time, but now I've looked back at it, I'm like, that would have been a real piece of me. That's really cool. Like a little virtual hangout for your friends. So we can live in hope, can't we? You ready for another bit of news, Nancy?
Yes, I'm very excited.
Bim, bam, bam, I'm going to show you some news. It's the news RGT has been waiting for. Who's RGT?
Retro Gamer Thomas?
Correct. It's the announcement you've been waiting for. Farming Simulator 22 is officially on the way later in 2021. It'll be digging up the weeds on your Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, PS4, PS5, PC, and it makes its on the way to arrival. We don't know too much about it just yet, but it's promising that the game will feature new drops, new maps, new machines, new brands, and more, along with seasonal cycles, including snow, and more features to be announced soon. Make sure you go and check out the brand new announcement trailer. Farming Simulator 22 will offer more depth thanks to a variety of new additions and more freedom than ever before. Are you a fan of Farming Simulator?
I've only ever seen you playing it.
Didn't I play it like a pro?
Obviously.
You know you get paid regardless of whether you're nice to me or not.
Do I actually?
Yeah.
You're trash.
Okay, brilliant. Moving on. Next bit of news, Nancy. Let's keep this light.
Paul, our friend, messaged the show. Long before the American actor Paul Rudd joined the Avengers as Ant-Man, he actually starred on a commercial for the Super Nintendo, showcasing games like F-Zero, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, Pilot Wings, and even SimCity. With this in mind, Twitter user at @ArtofMP, who was obsessed with archiving and sharing original Nintendo power art, wants Paul Rudd to sign their Super Nintendo. They've got so tired of waiting for the opportunity to arise that they're now offering to donate $1,000 to a charity of anyone's choice if they can somehow get Paul Rudd to sign the SNES.
Okay, there's a quote there. Heart of MP says, I've always wanted #Paul Rudd to sign a Super Nintendo, so much so that I keep one in my trunk just in case I run into him. Seriously.
That's real dedication.
That is, I'm tired of waiting. I'll donate £1,000 to the charity of your choice if you can make the connection that results in me having a Paul Rudd SNES. That's a little, Paul Rudd happens during his glittering acting career to happen to get some beer money doing a SNES commercial. And now this guy stalks him.
Yep.
Is that normal behaviour?
I'm not sure.
RGT did it to me.
Wow, he's so dangerous.
He's so edgy, that man. He is so edgy. I guess that's the news. In and out. Question. Did we miss anything, dear listener? And let's face it, based on this week's news, we missed stacks of news. But that's what you love us for. Do you have an opinion or take on the news we missed? If so, Nancy, how would the collective masses get in contact with us?
You can email at questions@unofficialcontroller.com or DM us on Instagram and Twitter.
Okay, all right. Well, in no uncertain time, we found ourselves slap bang in the middle of the feature, staring up at the almost statuesque castle high above us. It's the Resident Evil Village, the preview. As always, we ask you guys your thoughts on the topic, and we've interwoven those. Well, not really. We've kind of just dumped them at the end, and we'll answer the questions when we get to them. You ready?
I think I am.
You got your hiking boots on?
It took me a lot of preparation, but I think I'm ready to go.
You got some green herb?
No, I forgot that. Okay,
it's legal here, so you're all good. Let's kick it off. I think we all remember where we were when we first saw Lady Dimitrescu, the statuesque vampiric lady in the latest iteration of Resident Evil, the 8th game in the saga and the second since the first-person view reboot. This time around, we abandoned the derelict plantation in the swamps of Louisiana for a European castle with hints towards Transylvania and vampiric legend. This castle dominates the local area and the snow-covered village below it. Resident Evil Village's producer has provided us some snippets of info we will include in the preview, which is a great honour for the show. I must extend our thanks to Peter Fabiano and Capcom. Peter goes on to say, Dimitrescu and her 3 daughters all harken back to what you expect from vampire lore. He continues, we are not saying that's what they are, but there's certainly something about them that feels supernatural.
To date, Capcom has revealed werewolf-like creatures, teased zombies, and we've seen massive hammer-wielding enemies lurching from a haze of a snowstorm. We go as far as to say all feels a little bloodborne. Lady Dimitrescu can be clearly seen drinking blood, and her daughters seem to relish the idea and seem to thrive on the concept of carving up a man.
It's a normal sort of thing that takes place.
Yeah, family bonding.
Don't forget Resident Evil as a franchise seemed to excel in flipping our preconceptions on the head. Peter chimes in again to confirm this. We don't want to spoil much of the story, but what I can say is that all the creatures fit within the context of Resident Evil's previous world building. We can assure you Resident Evil takes into account the whole world created to this point and the history of the series.
Don't forget his is the same franchise that used a sleight of hand before with the parasitic plagueis in Resi 4 and the sentient fungus in Resi 7.
At this point, Resident Evil 8, or The Village, has been in development for 3 years and has direct links with Resident Evil 7, not only in talent that worked on both games, but also those involved in making the story and the characters for both 7 and 8. So the feel, look, and gameplay will feel right at home to the people brave enough to conquer 7 those 3 short years ago. Peter Fabiano, again, filling us in on the finer details. The team grew quite attached to Ethan as a character, so we knew we wanted to continue his story arc. The returning team for 7, for the most part, are back for this follow-up. This really helped to keep our vision on target since we are constantly sharing information across teams. That really helped inform us in making what we consider the best survival horror game to date.
This all means we get a challenge that feels lean and direct with enough twists to keep us guessing. After the events of Resident Evil 7, Ethan and Mia start a new life in Eastern Europe under the protection of BSAA. Sadly, this new lease of life doesn't last long when Chris Redfield kidnaps their daughter, forcing Ethan to search the village in an attempt to get her back. Behind this, the team has been able to nail in quite a few curveballs, new lore, narrative shocks that will keep us guessing until the credits roll. This is going to be leading a list of questions for new and old fans alike, such as:
what is Chris Redfield's connection to Lady Dimitrescu? Who is the new antagonist? Where is the ceremony Rose has been abducted to fulfill? Who or what is the mysterious Mother Miranda? Let's take 5 to meet the cast we know about so far. Chris Redfield, a survivor of many Resident Evil games, including the very first, the former STARS member Chris Redfield, specialist of the anti-bioterror group BSAA. But why has he kidnapped Rose Winters? It is set to become one of the game's biggest and most pivotal secrets.
Ethan Winters. After making out alive from the Baker estate in Resi 7, Ethan went under the protection of BSAA with his wife Mia. This doesn't stop him reverting to his skill set for the previous game when he has to go get his daughter back.
Mia Winters, hardly what you call an innocent lamb. In all this, don't forget Mia was an employee of the company responsible for the bioweapon used at the Baker estate in Resi 7. Is Rose's abduction a ploy to force Mia to work in bioweaponry again?
Rose Winters. Just a baby, Rose, really, as far as we know, has no idea what's going on. Too young to talk and too innocent as far as we know, but always keep an open mind in the Resident Evil franchise.
And last but not least, the aforementioned Lady Dimitrescu. Well, Lady Dimitrescu is the lady that saw all the attention in this game. She's tall, yet it's also suggested her and her daughters drink blood, further cementing the idea she's a vampire. But we say again, this is Resi, folks. Prepare to have your preconceptions flipped.
No doubt, we are sure some of you had hands-on with the Village's great demos harken back to the same style and tension, raising stakes as the demos we enjoyed for Resi 7, especially the VR one, The Kitchen. As always, the scene setting and landscape of this Eastern European setting are also exciting as the name cast. This environment feels really useful to Resi's pattern scare techniques. There's plenty of blood spilling and spine-tingling action, and the castle is a perfect backdrop. In the castle space bump, flashes of pale legs between barrels heighten tension and get your heart pounding. Expecting shambling undead. While this is Resident Evil, we'll prepare for a whole new enemy. These new creatures are faster than usual, and some wield ornate broadswords, further compounding your situation.
Don't let them up close. These guys are fast, and a quick flash of a clawed hand or a glimpse of their vicious-looking teeth, and that will be you reloading your save. The evil figures topped off with their hoods pulled down off the glimpses of grey-skinned zombies, but again, without leaving too many spoilers here, this is way more to it than there seems to appear. Bullets seem to hold these guys off, or at least slow them down. Let them in up close, so you can still take the guys in hand-to-hand, but the stakes are raised very high, and we think first run-through, safety is key. We also see more of the werewolf-type creatures and a hulking man wielding a huge hammer, who looks like the sort of dude you do not want to mess with. Once again, Capcom went with the returning first-person view, purposely ignoring the series' third-person roots. Let's hear from Peter Fabiano again at that point. He says, we want to continue to have players experience the game through the eyes of protagonist Ethan Winters. This is, after all, a continuation of Resident Evil 7.
Resident Evil 7 perfectly shows the last gen's abilities and the capability of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One generation to extract performance from either machine and project a world that sucked us all into the Baker family's intimidating home. But what of the new system's hardware? How will this be used to sink us into the absorbing action within the village? Well, Capcom have been most excited by all the latest developments and are working hard to make the most out of one of the most particular feature of the latest tech over on PS5. The dual-sense haptic feedback captive triggers mean every shot is experienced by the player, Peter being particularly excited to hear people's feedback on the trigger implementation, such as push and pull of the trigger.
Other tech that is hoping to make this Resident Evil way more palpable is the embracement of the SSD in the current next-gen machines, virtually eliminated load times, allowing the players to keep feeling the immersion. Fabiano also makes reference to the 3D audio tech on the PS5, citing that they are most impressed with the ability to drench the player in a rich and detailed, truly 3D landscape. What happens when you hit a low point? Well, one returning character is the Merchant. This time, he only answers to his new name, the Duke.
Literally wedging his bulbous from into the back of the car and something he calls his Emporium. His Emporium is located in different areas as you progress, and it is a little different each time. Showing him and his Emporium evolve over time is actually quite cool. As always, this new character will sell you all the things you need, such as medicine, ammo, new weapons, plus weapon upgrades, such as improved rates of fire, magazine capacities, and quicker reloading.
This time, Ethan's attacher case is the location for inventory fiddling. Limited space and inventory management as much part of Rez's playbook as stabbing a zombie through the head. Pickups and discoverable items, though, come through at a high rate, meaning inventory may need to be scrapped or combined, further adding to your tension levels. Fabiano and his team wanted you to explore and made sure there are subsystems to reward the braver players.
Striking out to explore should bolster up your survival gear, but should also reward you with finding hidden goat totems from which you'll earn bonuses. Mixing things up but also sticking to that feeling and vibe which makes this experience very much part of the Resi family and lore. Fabiano tells us a little more about the inspiration for this. You'll notice we took a lot of inspiration from Resi 4.
This comment feels really on point, as the village and journey up to the castle all feels like a greatest hits rework of some of the best bits in the much-loved franchise, the fantastic Resident Evil 4. But let's discuss the elements that left us most excited. The graphics. These are truly beautiful. The richness of the world, the richness detail, even in the smallest of in-game assets, is incredible and builds a huge, believable and vibrant world. This looks truly next-gen on Series X and PS5, utilising the ray tracing capabilities on shadows and reflections, and the targeted 4K means this game is sharper than one of Dimitrescu's canines. From the swirling snowstorms as you enter the village, obscuring from view the enemies, means you'll be very on edge and feeling very unsafe as you enter the village for the first time. The narrow confines as you pick through the tight streets and shacks, this all pales as you first witness the scale and opulence of the castle, and its huge chandelier using ray tracing to illuminate the hall. The ray tracing lending an uber-realistic feeling to the room, something that feels very next-gen and left us here most impressed. We hope this has whet your appetite a little as we look forward to the game's scheduled release on May 7th, 2021 for Windows, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Stadia. Now, as always, time for our community's questions. If you want to be on an episode of the biggest show in gaming, the Unofficial Controller podcast, keep your eyes peeled on Instagram or Twitter, and when we put up a post every week, you can comment. And if you're lucky enough, you could get featured on the show too. I'll take this first one, seeing as it's War and Peace from the Irish, the embodiment of the Irish meat industry. C. Pliskin, he says, "Hey, you're back," smiling nervously with teeth emoji. I actually thought for a moment that I may have jinxed the schedule last week because of my claim that I'd one day caused George to lose his voice, sweating with a smile emoji. Sadly, though, horror is not something I'm interested in. That's like 3 weeks in the bounce, C. Pliskin. You've not been interested in anything that we've done, yet you still felt the need to say something. I still remember the days when my eldest brother would play Oblivion, Fallout 3, Dead Space, and the Nazi Zombies mode from Call of Duty World at War, all of which traumatised me in their own way. When I just wanted to go back to playing Tools of Destruction again. He loves his Ratchet and Clank, Nancy. I'll say, though, I do respect really good horror titles for their encouragement to essentially give their readers, viewers, or players an adrenaline rush in the form of unexplainable atrocities. And Resident Evil's found a way to do just that in almost every iteration and shake-up it's had over nearly 3 decades of games. Or at least that's what hours of video essays on the series and horror in general have told me. But I suppose for 2 quick questions, finally get there, Nancy.
Yes.
It's like an archaeologist. You stumble across what looks like just some loose soil, and you have to dig
a bit more, and then you come to what you want.
Yeah, there we go. We find C. Pliskin's dinosaur bones in the form of a question. The first question: will there likely be a reference to Resident Evil 6 QTE song, or is this better known? Hammer the buttons and wiggle the sticks? No. Quite simply, no. All right. And the second less humorous one, what would you say would be the best way to scare someone consistently in a video game? There's lots of ways to do so, but I'm curious to know how to scare people universally, even when everyone has something to fear individually. And I guess that's it. You all have fun with your weird, gigantic vampire ladies, and I'll go back to quivering under a blanket in the meantime. Now I know what it's like being in Luigi's mansion. How would you consistently scare someone? I don't know. I find like just little
jump scares are scary, but you can only really do it once, and then it's not really a jump scare anymore.
No, so you've got to get in their heads and unsettle them. Do something with the game, make it kind of feel like it's
leave like details.
You got to get in their heads, Sleepless Kid. Who's next out the post bag, Nancy?
The.gaming.gram.
Wow.
I know next to nothing about Resident Evil, so apologies in advance if this.
Why does no one know about Resident Evil?
I don't know about Resident Evil.
Get out! No, come back, sit down.
Fired.
You're not fired. I can't afford to fire you, Nancy. It's just me and you versus the world now.
So apologies in advance if this question is completely irrelevant. From what I've seen in trailers, Resident Evil Village looks to be heavily influenced by vampirism. If this game is a success, which judging by the response on social media, I have a feeling it will be a huge success. Do you guys think we'll see a resurgence of vampires in gaming?
That's an interesting question, the .gaming.gram. I'm not sure. It'd be nice if we could go back to the days of Legacy of Kain and things like that. If only Bobby was here, he could have told you what a great game Vampiri is. But yeah. The glory days of the vampires in gaming, Castlevania possibly, maybe. Would you another one? It might just make it mainstream enough.
That show where the vampire was just a duck.
What show is this?
You showed it to me ages ago, and there was just a duck vampire there.
Count Duckula?
Yeah, that should just come back from the dead.
That should come
It was
back.
A masterpiece.
You're absolutely right, it was. In the heart of Transylvania, Vampire Hall of Fame, yeah.
That one.
Retro Gamer Thomas, so popular, I even got a news section named after him, the slithering little snake. Happy birthday, sir, to you. If anyone wants to wish him happy birthday, get on the Discord. That's where all the fans of the show hang out, and me occasionally. Let's go. He says, I loved the early Res series up to 4, then faded away from them. I was very tempted by Resi 7. I thought graphically it looked stunning, and going to first person added to the fear factor with narrowing your vision. Plus, you could play in VR. Unfortunately, I've never dared play it, to be honest. I did, and it was terrifying. I might be a 6'3" tractor boy. Tell you what, he's a big human, isn't he? He's a big slab of man meat. He's 6'3". Tractor boy. You can only be qualified as a tractor boy. You don't spend enough time in the tractor for that. But that scared me to death. Now, Resi 8, maybe I'll play it. I watched PlayStation Access play the demo recently, and I thought it looked fantastic. And if a little 5 foot tall Donna will hold my large but slightly quivering. If a little 5 foot tall Donna will hold my large but slightly. What's she holding? Everyone's like that on the edge of their seat now. What is it that he's got that's quivering that Donna's holding? It's apparently his man hand, okay? His man gland. His man hand. Okay, he's got a slightly quivering man gland hand. If Donna will hold it, he might give it a go. Anyway, he concludes with, as if that should be enough, really. He concludes with, I hope your weekend off went well, guys. Yes, we had a week off. What did you do with your week off, Nancy?
Play Minecraft.
Good use of your time. A well-earned break. Here in New York, you just hide in your room playing Minecraft all the time.
Yep.
Rona. We'll blame it on the Rona.
You've got to be careful with characters like Stingrays sneaking around.
You're absolutely right. He signed off as well with #legends.
I know, we are.
Gamer D Jack 85. Are they a new listener?
I haven't heard their name before.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Gamer D Jack is a new listener. Everyone's favourite part of the show.
Yes, agreed.
Gamer D Jack 85 says, "Is there any chance there'll be a VR update with PSVR 2 releasing next year?" Currently, as far as we're aware, this is a flat screen experience only, which I think is a massive shame because if the VR from the first game had been tweaked, one of the best looking VR games out there. It was all tied to the controller as well, which was a little frustrating, but it is what it is. But fingers crossed. At the moment, no. It's a definite no, but you never know. Who's next out the post bag?
Finster Gamer.
What's he say?
I think I'll be leaving this entry until it's on sale further down the line myself. As a long-time Resident Evil fan, RE8 looks like a very good game, but not one particularly aimed at fans of the originals. Bar shoehorning Chris Redfield in, it's basically a different franchise now in story, tone, and gameplay. Much like RE7, it looks entertaining, but I'm no more excited for it than I would be for any other generic horror game. I'm also a little put off that at this point, I dropped my paper, hang on. RE8 is basically just one big meme with a 10-foot, well-endowed vampire lady targeting horny Twitter users.
Yeah, that is basically what's going on. Lots of men looking to get stood on by Lady Dimitrescu, which I find very strange. My adopted son, Ginger's Games Room, he says, will it make me cry as much as Resident Evil 7? I'm still having night terrors. Ginge, here's the official answer from the UC. Yes and yes. Okay?
Be careful.
Be careful, yes. And the last post bag entry here is this guy. Bada Bings to Retro Gaming. It's glad to see you guys are back with a bang. The last Resident Evil I played was 2 remake, and I dabbled about in 7 with the VR, but it was better for me. This one does look good, but I don't need to finish 7 to understand what is going on. Keep up the good work, you guys do. Trophy emojis, sir. Universal Gaming emojis, sir. Everybody's down for the national anthem, sir. Everybody's down for the national anthem, sir. Grazie mille, stammi bene. Stammi bene, Bada Bings to Petra, prego. Okay, so what was this? Was it a question or was it a statement? I never know anymore.
I lost the question, that beautiful accent.
This one looks good, but I do need to finish 7 to understand what's going on. Is that his question?
I think so,
this one
the
does look
mark.
good. Yes, we agree. But do I need to finish 7? That's his question. But do I need to finish 7 to understand what's going on? Yes and no. Yes and no. I think you could pick 8 up and be quite happy. It's a new setting and all that sort of stuff. Yes, there are continuing characters, but it's not something you need to get too emotional about. But what with, if you've got a PS5, I do believe Resi 7's part of the free game campaign. Excuse me. Oh my God, Nancy, I'm dying.
I think the plague has come to New York.
It's the plague's parasitic plague's virus. A very realistic podcast. Oh God, that's what people want. They want to tune in to listen to someone cough down the microphone for 2 hours.
I think C. Pliskin was right. You lost your voice.
He's a conspiracy. C. Pliskin's been trying to off me for weeks, and I read it. Should have brought a drink into the studio, but I chose not to because I didn't want to spill on the electrics. And I'm a spiller, so just, give me a drink at your peril. What's he been up to this week, Nancy? Because that's the feature done and dusted. I know it was quick, but we read it really fast and we didn't deep dive on some of the points. Do you want to go back to it, or you think we should just?
I think we should move on.
Move on with that.
We had an emotional time, but
yeah,
had
then I
to come to an end.
Myself out, didn't I? Which is that's not necessarily a cool look. What do you think the Ray's been up to this week?
It's normal under the radar activity.
One would imagine. Yes, I heard he had bought up some moulds of gnomes from a closing down gnome factory. And he was filling these moulds with concrete and razors and other bits of stuff that he could find.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and then he's got little Wayne Ray painting them up.
You think we could get one for the garden?
I think it'll be you take your life in your hands. Yeah, it's all sort of New York floor sweeping in it. It's not advisable. Anyway, here he is. He tears down 50 Main. It's time for people what we Yes! Welcome to Coffee Battle Friends all this week. These are the new release highlights for the week, April 19th to April 25th, 2021. Listeners, these are out on digital, physical, or will be by the time this podcast in your feed, but could be! That tickle you did it?
It was well funny.
It could be. I don't know about that. Well funny is not a term that's used around me. It could be region dependent. Okay. How many are there? There's a few. I'm torn. I'm going to have 2 Mummy Mummies.
Oh my goodness.
How many are you having?
Probably one.
And
I
have
haven't
you
read
picked a
them yet.
VHS?
No, I
And
don't
if
know what
it
to
isn't
pick.
Frogs and Lobsters, you're in trouble.
What? I'm going to pick Flushed Away.
Huh?
I'm going to pick Flushed Away, the film where the rat goes down the toilet and stuff. That's a masterpiece of a film.
Flushed Away?
Yeah. I used to be so scared of it.
You did?
I did. But then it kind of like, it grew on me.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I thought you were going to pick a Hornblower series.
I didn't know you could pick series. But that series is just, it's a masterpiece.
Wow. Okay. Well, before we get lost in retro TV nostalgia, first out of the boot, look out the way, Ray. Yeah, I can manhandle you. I've done it. Don't Forget Me on PC, April 20th. Jazz punk adventure game with a twist. Don't Forget Me is a new breed of puzzle game. Dive into the memories of your patients, use your observations to unwrap their minds, and uncover a dark conspiracy set to claim dominion over humanity.
Oh, that sounds pretty interesting.
It sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? What are you pulling out?
Mask Maker, PC, VR, and PSVR on April the 20th. In an all-new mysterious universe built by the developers of the award-winning A Fisherman's Tale, you play as a mask-maker's apprentice to learn the magic of crafting masks to immerse yourself in intriguing, enigmatic beings within the game. That one sounds pretty good.
MLB The Show 21, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One. Currently free on Games Pass. If you have that option, get it now. One of the best PlayStation exclusives. April 20th. Experience faster, deeper, and more intense moment-to-moment action on the field with a variety of game modes for all you rookie players and returning seasoned vets. I bought this with my own money for the PlayStation 5, so more than fool me. Lead your ball player to the road to the show and Diamond Dynasty glory as a two-way star. Enjoy updates to franchise and March to October modes, which empower you to make better decisions for the future of your club. Brace your friends on PS4, PS5, cross-platform play. Feel the impact of every hit, catch, and collision through the dual sense. Hear the roar of the crowd with the all-new 360 headphones on PS5. There's obviously the PlayStation listing, but pretty much all that applies to the Xbox as well. What's next out the boot, Nancy?
World Splitter for PC, PS4, Switch on April 21st. World Splitter is a 2D puzzle platformer challenging you with multi-dimensional puzzles.
Short but sweet.
Yes, I agree.
How's your internship going?
I really like my internship.
We like you too.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Buildings Have Feelings too. PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, April 22nd. An exciting new city management puzzle game about buildings and the city they inhabit. You must grow your city to a bustling metropolitan centre with an array of shops, offices, entertainment facilities, and amenities. Help your buildings thrive or risk them being demolished forever.
Next, we have Orbital Bullet for the PC on April the 22nd. Orbital Bullet is a fast-paced 360 action platformer with roguelike elements where all actions take place in a circular pattern. Fight your way through a variety of procedural planets and use body modifications, crafting, and heavy weaponry. Kill, die, modify.
Wow. Here's my second one. So the first one was MLB. The second one is Judgment. It's coming with a next-gen release to PS5, Xbox Series X, and Stadia, and I'm reliably informed this is winging its way to me as well. Thank you, Sega. They know I love a little bit of that. A little bit of Yakuza. It's coming April 23rd. From the team that brought the critically acclaimed Yakuza series comes Judgment, a gritty tale of disgraced attorney Takayuki Yagami in his quest for redemption. Haunted by his past, he takes up arms as a private detective, clawing his way through Kamurocho's underground crime network to investigate a string of grisly murders. In this psychological thriller, the balance between justice and mercy teeters on the edge. Track suspects, discover clues, and bring evidence to court, but be careful. There are dark characters at every turn. Can you distinguish between friend and foe? Take advantage of two unique battle styles to take down adversaries in electrifying encounters. Packed with Hollywood-worthy combat sequences and cinematic twists and turns. This mystery will keep you on your toes. This upgraded version of Judgment contains all previously released DLC and improved visuals.
Wow.
Last one out the boot.
NO I don't know.
I think in the industry they call it Nia.
Nia replicant version 1.22474487139, and that will be on the PS4, PC, Xbox One on April 23rd. Sorry, don't get it the day early. The upgraded prequel of Nier Automata. A kind young man sets out with Grimoire Weiss, a strange talking book, to search for the sealed verses in order to save his sister Yona, who fell terminally ill to the Black Scroll.
Just an average day here in New York. Really?
Mm.
What's your mummy VHS?
I don't know. I've forgotten all my ideas.
Flushed away?
Yeah, I love that film. It's a masterpiece, honestly.
It actually is. Okay. Do you know what mine is going to be?
Yeah, okay, go on, tell me.
Men Who Stare at Goats.
Is that about men who stare at goats?
It is. You should get that out the Unofficial Controller podcast video library, Nancy. You would love it. It's funny. It's good.
Are there goats in it?
Yeah.
Do you stare at them?
You don't. Well, you could do.
Do men stare at them?
Men are known to stare at goats in this film.
Real goats, or is that like an expression?
No, they're goats.
Oh.
There's no CGI either. It's all done for real.
Wow.
Yeah.
We love goats so much.
We do. With that, the boot's shut. You turn around, and where once a man stood in his car that somehow seemed to fit in a goodness knows how high up apartment in New York, he's suddenly not there anymore. Possibly the hint of burnt petrol or the sniff of some Castrol GTX. I'm not sure. But now even that's faded. And I question if anything even happened. I don't know anymore. Those that paid attention at the top of the show, Otter's gripping so hard on his Chris Redfield plush that some of the stuffing is squeezed out.
That's a big shame.
Through the armpit of the said plush.
He's going to have to do some stitching up now.
Release that grip. As I asked Nancy, what are you hoping to play?
Probably more Minecraft. It's just really interesting at the minute to me.
Been in the Nether?
No, we're not that adventurous. We're sticking to creative world.
Right, that fits your start. As I say, I've got MLB winging its way to me, so I'll probably have a little go on that. Still got Persona 5 to finish. Yes, the shame. Leave me alone. I'm going through a strange time with gaming at the moment. Unless it's on handheld or PlayStation TV, I'm not that interested. No, I don't know. I've been buying more UMD movies as well.
Well, one arrived yesterday, didn't I?
I've gone full... I think I've gone full bonkers.
Oh, dear.
But, that's me. I collect the very strangest of things. That's what I do. What would you imagine, Nancy, is that it? Have you got any more to say?
No, I don't think so. Do
you want to say hi to all the people listening at home?
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Proper social internet celebrity with the hi, guys. Hi, guys. I guess that's it then. So that's all we have time for this week. Listeners, always thank you for your time. I look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy game room. There's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. Hopefully.
That slogan is so inspirational.
I know it is. I know many people have had a bad day. They've listened to the podcast for the first time. They've listened all the way through and they've got to end. Do you know what? Nothing's a problem in my life anymore.
Yep.
Wonderful. All right. Nancy, you take care. Speak to you soon.
I will. Bye-bye.
Hi, it's George here from the Unofficial Controller podcast. Just taking a moment to, first of all, thank you for listening. It means a hell of a lot to us. Secondly, every week we bring you free content, the latest news, the new releases, a feature of note, normally something to do with games or gaming past, be it one of our history of documentaries or an insight into the industry itself, or how games have affected us as people. Well, yes, we incorporate you, listeners, into that. All we ask is that you drop a little comment on our post on social media and you can get featured on the show. Hey, do you know what? You may even win a prize. The only charge for this is £0, 0 pence. $0, that's right, no money. But all we ask is that you like, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you found this show. And if you're feeling a little bit cheeky, tell a friend, get them to do the same. We have a Discord that's free for you guys to all join in and get involved in. And the community on Instagram and Twitter is alive and thriving. So don't be a lonely gamer. Make yourself known. Thank you. And now it's time to begin this week's entertainment. Take care, guys.